Om Sada Shiva Samarambam Shankara Sharya Madhyamam Asmada Sharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Param Om. Namaste. We are on the Gita. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We have seen the verse. What was the last verse? 4. Okay. Earth, water, fire, air, space, the cosmic ego, the cosmic intellect, and also the unmanifest chit. And this is my nature, which is divided into eightfold. So we have the absolute nature as unmanifest chit, and then the unfoldment of consciousness according to this explanation of our scripture. It has one superior nature, inferior nature. The superior nature we'll see is described as para prakriti, and inferior nature as apara prakriti. And it's present as the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. So the cosmos, and then the cosmic intellect, which is everything is there in the causal body, and also the unmanifest chit. What is the mind? Here it's one is missing. Mind should be there as well. We'll see. Now it's presented is my nature, which is divided eightfold. Okay, let's see, because it's to my understanding this explosion that occurs, unfoldment brings the 5 and it's more than subtle element, is just what is there in the causal formation, the 5 elements, and then the intellect, not the intellect we experience, and not the ego we experience, not the mind we experience, but there in the causal body, yet not fully manifest. You talk about the beginning of this projection. So this is being presented. Now the point here is that this is being presented because the discussion at this stage of the seventh chapter presents the nature of Nirguna Brahman manifest as Saguna Brahman, but from the point of view of the material cause. Okay, so as we know, any creation requires the intelligent cause and the material cause. And in the case of this creation of the universe, which is an apparent creation, a meteor creation, the creator, we see Shwara in our language, it has both the material intelligence, the efficient cause, and the material cause. So from the material cause, we need to understand the material universe. That's the point here. So we analyze the creator and its power to create from the standpoint of the material cause that brings about the material universe. So we know that the intelligence is what knows how to do that, has the know-how on how to do that. And the intelligence exists, pervading, sustaining, supporting the entire cosmos. How so? By its laws and principles. So we are talking about the nature of God, and we analyze the nature of God in its manifestation as the cosmos. material cause. Any creation requires raw material, but not in the case of this creation of God, because as we know, God just creates it out of itself if he has the power of Maya available. Maya provides the Sattva Guna for Ishwara, Saguna Ishwara, to play, to manipulate the other energies and bring about the entire cosmos that exists on the three levels: causal, subtle, and physical manifest. We have two principles. One is the intelligent cause, which is Nimitta Karanam, and we have the other, the raw material, which is called Upadana Karanam. Okay. As we know, God, our Saguneshwara, has both, and therefore we can say that God itself has evolved, apparently evolved, to become this cosmos. When we come to Vedanta, now the guru expects people who already question this theory, the theory is like how can one entity serve as an intelligent cause and material cause? For that, the Upanishad answers the general law is that the intelligent cause is different and is kept apart from the material cause. And then Swami reminds us of the Upanishads. Mundaka Upanishad says that those who have attended Mundaka will remember the spider analogy. The spider is what saves us if any very smart Vedantine asks this question. Okay. And now the next question is, what is the true nature of such a God that contains both the intelligent and the material cause? And our scriptures say, Lord Krishna presents to us that this Lord, this God, consists of two principles that put together symbolize God, which is present in all religions. What are these two principles? In this passage of chapter 7, Krishna names these two principles as para and apara prakriti. Para prakriti, para goes to absolute. Para, reality, absolute, is the higher nature, and the apara prakriti, the lower or inferior nature or principle. PP or AP, for shortening, like Swamiji likes to do. Okay. Now, we have to understand what are the features of these two principles. These two principles have got some common features as well as some uncommon features. This is a different angle to look into the difference between Nirguna and Saguna Ishwara or Brahman from a different angle. And this angle is presented here from the point of view of the God manifest as the effect of its material cause. When we look into the manifestation of the cosmos, and this analysis of Lord Krishna comes to follow that, that line of thought and say, from the standpoint of God the Creator, who projects this universe, and it's both the intelligence and the material cause, the universe becomes the material effect. And then when we look at the universe, we see prakriti. Prakriti is a manifestation of God, yeah, through the gunas of Maya that brings the universe that is put together by two principles, nirguna and saguna atma, or paraprakriti and aparaprakriti, okay? And then prakriti is brought here, which means nature, which being, the energies of mind, Maya we call prakriti. It's brought here because we're analyzing from the standpoint of the not the intelligent cause, but the material cause manifest as the cosmos. We have to understand these two features. They have common and uncommon features. The common features, both of them are beginningless principle. So now this is a very interesting point. We say that the cosmos, the universe, this meteor universe is beginningless as well. So it gives us an indication that anything that's beginningless is not really originated or initiated, or brought into existence. It just exists forever since beginningless time, okay? Consciousness is, of course, is beyond time and space. This para universe, apara prakriti universe is beginningless as well. It exists all the time, but with one different. There are several uncommon features, but now we are looking at the common feature. Both are beginningless, okay? Of course, we know that the universe manifests physically as we know it, as we see it, as we sense it. It is one of the states coming from the causal state, subtle state, and physical material state of the universe. So it is eternally present. It's another name for Maya. This aparaprakriti is another name for Maya. It's always there. Sometimes unmanifest, sometimes manifest physically, sometimes manifest on the subtle level. So both are eternal. This is the common feature. They are never created or destroyed. So it comes in support to the statements we have seen with Mandukya that say there is no creation, there is no beginning, there is no origination of this universe. It has always been there apparently. Here we are looking at the apparent nature. In the Mandukya, the difference is the Gaudapada was saying, what creation? There is no creation, there is nothing here showing. Yeah. As the cosmos, there is only Brahman, and so on. But here we are saying there is such a thing as the cosmos, and it's described as matter, which is another way to understand apara prakriti. It is a nature, it's prakriti that has manifest to become physical, physical in this Vyavaharika as we know it. And he says it's a beginningless principle, it's eternal principle. It was never created, will never be destroyed. Even the scientists know that. And they say that the matter, the physical universe, can never be destroyed. It can be just transformed. So you see the elegance of Vedanta. We talk about transformation of matter into energy, and even energies can be transformed. It's continually changing. And here we see from the macro cosmic angle, we have the universe always there, but it is transformed from the causal to the subtle to the manifest physical universe. Swami says the candle burns, nothing is lost. The law of conservation of energy and matter, nothing is lost. Unbelievable, this law. I never really looked into this scientific principles, but conservation of energy, nothing really is lost. There is a conversion between one kind of energy into another kind of energy, and ultimately between matter and energy. This is the principle. The Upanishad also points out that this paraprakriti and aparaprakriti, both of them are eternal, anadi, permanent. They always are there. Of course, paraprakriti must be there because it's beyond time and space. And then we have the aparaprakriti, which is the universe in all the three levels, is again permanently beginningless there. Nothing was created nor destroyed. This is the common feature. Both are anadi. Now we have to find out some uncommon features. Many uncommon features are described in the Upanishads. I will mention only 4 of them for this consideration. The first difference between para and apara prakriti, the higher and the inferior nature of God, is Chetana Tattvam. One principle is conscious, and the other principle is unconscious or inert. It is conscious principle, and according to our scripture, consciousness can never be created or destroyed. Consciousness can never be created or destroyed. Fortunately, some scientists are coming around to agree with that. So remember, consciousness is the nature of Pura Prakriti. It's not subject to any arrival, departure, creation, and destruction. Whereas Apara Prakriti is a Chetana Tattvam. It is of the nature of Jada, its material principle, matter principle. We are talking about consciousness and matter, spirit and matter. And as we know, matter, even subtle energies are still matter on a different frequency of energy. One is spirit, the other is matter. While one is consciousness, the other is the inert matter, the material earth, the earth, which is available all over the cosmos. This is the first difference. Matter also is never created, never destroyed. Therefore, what is the lesson? Consciousness is never created or destroyed. Matter is also never created nor destroyed. This consciousness matter mixture is what we call God. Paraprakriti mixed up with aparaprakriti is Saguna Brahman, Saguna Ishwara. Okay, it has both. No? It has consciousness and it has matter in the finest possible subtlest possible composition or configuration, which is pure sattva guna, intelligence, supreme intelligence, but it has also the other gunas to bring about the material universe. The material universe is the body of God, and it's there together with its superior nature, which is free, limitless, infinite consciousness, paraprakriti. One is conscious principle, one is the chit principle, one is the sat principle of non-dual nature, and the other is the matter/energy principle that allows God to project this universe. The second difference between para and paraprakriti is consciousness in its pure form is free from attributes. Physical attributes, chemical attributes are not present in consciousness. Those who study science know that. Those who do not do the salt analysis, when you have to find out the physical attributes and chemical attributes, you see which group it is. So he just presents some of his chemical knowledge here. Having studied physical and chemical properties, you say this is copper and so on. This is calcium carbonate. So the point here is that the physical universe and chemical belongs to matter. Matter is just made up of properties which are inherent to the subtle elements once they grossify at travers the dividing and regrouping, dividing and transforming, and combining. They become the entire variety of chemical and physical elements. Consciousness does not have any of that. It's absolutely attributeless. Therefore, in Sanskrit, we call it Nirguna Chaitanya. So you must have some gunas in there so that it can break down to produce the entire range of chemical and physical properties, okay, or elements. Therefore, Aparaprakriti, the lower nature, the material nature, is saguna svarupa, is the nature of the gunas, the superimposition of the gunas of Maya on consciousness makes gods, because now we have gods, which is the substratum, the adhisthanam, and then now we have Maya doing its trick and superimpose the guna, its gunas. Not only he projects all the three gunas, he makes the first guna, sattva guna, a self-conscious supreme intelligence that knows how to play with the other gunas to create millions and billions of different properties in the cosmos, infinite numbers. So Saguna Svarupa is the nature of the universe, material nature that you discover. And that's why some of the scientists have come to the conclusion that all their studies, which are based on the physical and chemical properties, will deal only with matter. Good for them. So they understood that every analysis they do, it refers to the material world. And some of them understood that the subtle energies belong to the material world as well, although there is a lot of confusion there, as if the subtle universe of energies could be the true intelligent cause of the universe, the so-called God particle they are looking for within the material world. But some of them know that consciousness will never be available for scientific study because the honest scientists say, because we deal with matter, and matter is defined by its properties, and fundamentally matter is inert. We must have somehow intelligent conscious principle to bring about matter. Matter cannot create a universe because matter fundamentally is inert. This for those scientists that understood that energy as well is inert. Consciousness is never available for study, and some scientists say that it will never be available for scientific study. It will be an eternal mystery. If they are available to us, Vedantins, we will say that it's not a mystery, just come to the Upanishad. There you find the answer. So one is Nirguna and the other is Saguna. So therefore, how to solve the mystery of the universe? So the only way, this is the insight I had at the first months or first year of contact with Vedanta was like the only way to solve all this mystery in regards to this material universe or cosmos is to understand that they are not really real. It's not really real, you know. If you want to really solve the problem, solve the mystery, the only way is to understand, because we don't know how Maya, pulls off this trick. But if you really want to solve the mystery, you come to Vedanta and you understand that this is all prakriti. It's all consciousness. Nirguna Atma. So now, what is the next difference between para and paraprakriti? The Upanishads point out that this Chetana, Nirguna, Tattva, is free from modifications, as we know. Consciousness is that which never changes. It's nirvikara. It never undergo any modification or change. Any condition does not impact consciousness. It may impact mental conditions or mental states. Consciousness never changes, as we know. And that is very simple, but yet very subtle. If you want to really come down to this viveka, all you need to do is to observe and reject anything that changes as a mithya, apparent reality, which includes my mind, my body, my intellect, my wonderful sattvic mental states. They are subject to change. All of this is mithya. So there must be, we must come down to understand by discriminating what changes and what does not change, to recognize that that consciousness, that unchanging principle is the true nature of everything. Whatever changes we are talking about are at the matter level alone, as we know. And the mind is subtle matter. The mind is change. So, and then it must be matter as well, because there are two principles. One changes and the other does not change. The unchanging principle is consciousness, and everything else in the realm of matter on different densities or different frequencies, it's all changing. The mind changes, the intellect changes, the ego changes, the pranas change, emotions change. Therefore, para prakriti is nirvikara tattvam, free from modifications, without modifications. And para prakriti is savikara tattvam. So one is nirvikara tattvam, and the other is all the time a flux of continuous change, savikara tattvam, subject to continuous change, modifications, continuous flux of change or modifications. In fact, nothing is stationary in this creation, this apparent creation. Nothing stops changing. Isn't it amazing? You see, we want to find security and stability in a stage, the so-called the environment of this universe we are experiencing here. So the stage is changing, everything is changing. Things are appearing, disappearing. The body-mind is changing violently, The other body-minds are changing violently. So how are we going to find stability and security in such a condition? Nothing is stationary in this creation, even when you think that this universe is solid and stable and stationary. Science will tell you and declare that within the atom of your body or the wall, there are electrons, protons, and neutrons violently changing according to the Tao of Physics written by Fritz of Capra. Did you read this book?
I read that way back in the 60s.
Nice. Did you enjoy it on those days?
Oh, it was a real mind opener. It was very good.
These books symbolize the ever-changing nature of this universe. We have the symbol of Nataraja for that. And he says that Fritz of Capra has taken that Nataraja concept from the Vedas. Nataraja is, when I was associated with my first guru, there was one of those so-called meditations that had very little of meditation, which was called Nataraja, which was a 50 minutes of violently going with the flux of a music, a certain music, only that music, until you forget that you were the dancer and only dance would be there. And my guru at the time would say that is a state of meditation that you should enjoy and try to understand. So Nataraja is constantly dancing, and the universe is constantly dancing as well. And then we would ask Maya, are you not tired? You project this universe that is violently dancing at all times. This eternal material of yours, dance of the creation, is violently, continuously changing, dancing, but harmoniously dancing, well-structured, intelligently structured dancing. So this is the third main difference. My superior nature does not undergo any change, and my inferior nature, together with the entire universe, undergoes change at all times. That brings again us to the most fundamental element of the Vedantic teachings, which is on the level, Vedanta is about redefining your identity, you know? It's a kind of psychology, you know? In psychology, we want to get a better definition of the ego, of the ego, of the I, you know? I am small and inadequate, no, I'm good, no, I'm, you know, totally adequate, and so on. So this is the ultimate psychology. You need to redefine yourself. And what is the redefining here? You have to decide whether you identify with your inferior nature or superior nature. If you identify with your inferior nature, you're going to feel vulnerable and insecure because everything is changing from moment to moment. The Dharma field is changing, and the experiencer of the Dharma field is changing. When you have one principle change, the other, which is the experience, change, so you cannot make any sense of it. You have to identify and realize that there is something that does not change, and allowing the changing of Jagata, allowing the change of the Jiva in this play between Jivatma and Jagata. So we need to identify that which does not change and claim our identity as such. So the third difference between the fourth and final difference between these two is that one principle, the para-prakriti, is free and independent. It enjoys a free and independent existence. It's self-contained. conscious existence. It's a conscious existence that does not depend on any support from other principles. So to realize your ananda nature means to say realize your nature, which is free and independent, because it's self-contained. I exist on my own as consciousness. I am conscious on my own because consciousness is my nature, Sat Chit. And as far as my body-mind, I exist and I am conscious due to the blessing of my superior's Paraprakriti nature as Nirguna Atma. So one is free and independent, and the other is totally dependent. So the body-mind is dependent on consciousness. Consciousness is free and independent of the body-mind. And then someone comes, oh, but it's okay, but if I lose this physical mind, this body-mind here, and then, so what is in there for me to simply own my superior nature? If I don't have this body-mind, I'm not going to enjoy my moksha. I want an experience. I want to be the enlightened one. So we should make some signs. So I'm saying, oh, that's a good idea. If I was young and if I want to play a little bit with the spiritual, if I was young and wise, because usually when we're young, we are unwise. I could make some accessories, like I played with accessories when I lived in India, selling accessories, for decorating the body, make some chains and things like that, and then just write down the enlightened one. I am the enlightened one. I made t-shirts. I am the enlightened one, because that exposes the body-mind for what it is, totally dependent on one's superior nature. So therefore, this is said to be Satyam or Svasantraha. The para e a paraprakriti. A paraprakriti is Mithya. Paraprakriti is Satya, to keep it simple. When we have paraprakriti and aparaprakriti, we have our hero, Ishvara, the creator, the intelligent and the material cause of the universe, and the laws and principles that sustains it. Now, you imagine a state before evolution, you imagine a state before the creation, when God alone was there. So Ishvara comes and he finds Maya. Maya said, I did my job, okay? I present you my prakriti with 3 kinds of energies. Now it's up to you what you're going to do with it. And then, of course, God being pure Pattvaguna, but total intelligence of everything, just flash in its supreme mind and say, okay, yes, I know. I have done it in the past, beginninglessly. I get these gunas and I know how to project this universe. So in the beginning, before Ishvara mix up the energies to project the universe, what was the condition? What was the state of the cosmos before that, before evolution? There was only God. There was already a mixture of para and the paraprakriti there. But the evolution did not take yet place. Now, the scripture talk about this evolution very elaborately. It's called Shriti Prakaranam. And here in the 7th chapter, here, Lord Krishna presents the evolution in two stages. Just like a seed becoming a plant, which is an intermediary stage, and thereafter the plant becomes the full-fledged tree. Exactly like that, this creation also evolves through two stages, or in two stages. So, how does this evolution happens? And some says that in modern science, they call it cosmology. It's a huge, big topic. It's a mind-blogging topic, cosmology, and there are many theories. Theory of Big Bang, that is already old, and many other theories contradicting the previous one. And both of them will get PhD and so on. So because you cannot verify any of that, because we can never really travel back there to see how this beginning of evolution happened, nobody knows. At the time of Big Bang, right before or immediately after the Big Bang. Swamiji said this is all speculative. We can never access and validate or prove any of that. So not only the scientists have done, all the ancient philosophies knew about that. In our scriptures, Krishna presents the evolution based on Sankhya philosophy. There is one of the well-known philosophy in our tradition, and this is the Sankhya vision, darshanam, presented by Kapila Muni. It's Sankhya is a tradition which is slightly different from the Vedic evolution theory. Sankhya differs, but even though it differs, Vedanta used some of the insights of Sankhya for the sake of discussions. Krishna presents, and according to this, the creation comes, Krishna pulls some of these theories of Sankhya. Krishna presents, and according to this, the creation comes into two levels. The first level is Paraprakriti, and one Aparaprakriti, that is Pralaya, deluge stage. Okay. So what is this Paraprakriti then? If this comes after the initial stage of the Big Bang, the evolution, creation comes in two levels. One is Para and the other is Aparaprakriti. That is the Pralaya deluge stage. And the intermediary stage, what happens? This is one Aparaprakriti, multiple itself into eightfold principle. The first level, there is Paraprakriti. And one Aparaprakriti. You see, I'm trying to make sense of this passage here, because present the first level, there is Paraprakriti plus Aparaprakriti, which is Ishwara. Okay, we said before, God is a mixture of both, but it is yet to be manifest. So this is the initial stage of the universe, the creation. Two levels, Para and Aparaprakriti, the spirit and matter, consciousness and subtle matter, causal matter to say. So this is the initial stage according to the scriptures. And the intermediary stage, what happens? This one Aparaprakriti multiplies itself. We have Para and Aparaprakriti. And then this apara prakrit multiplies itself into eightfold principle. So we have consciousness and nature or matter, okay? And this matter is not the material world as we see here. This is a much later on evolution, okay? Transformation, conversions, dividing and combining the elements and so on, bringing about the physical and chemical elements. Here we are talking about one principle, which is consciousness, paraprakriti, and the other, which is the Maya, which is the entire universe in its causal configuration. So we are talking about consciousness and Maya. So this aparaprakriti multiplies itself into eightfold principle. We have one aparaprakriti that poof multiplies into amoeba. This amoeba multiplies by division. Have not you heard this? Like the aparaprakriti becomes what? Astada aparaprakriti, which is the intermediary stage. So I'm not familiar to these terms and this aspect of the teachings. And what happens to the paraprakriti? As we know, paraprakriti is that which never changes. It's beyond time and beyond space. Nothing happens to paraprakriti. Why nothing happens to paraprakriti? Because we have said that paraprakriti does not undergo any change. Therefore, the consciousness principle remains the same. The spirit is always the same. The material aspect alone goes through multiple transformations. Therefore, in the intermediary stage, there are how many factors? Eightfold of paraprakriti, plus one-fold of paraprakriti. We have consciousness, and now we have paraprakriti in its causal, Maya configuration, formation, which brings about 8 principles to develop into the universe. Totally 9 principles. This is the intermediary stage of what? Of whom? Of God, of Ishwara. Pure, limitless, conscious existence of non-dual nature. And then Maya begin to play with the gunas, bringing about 8 principles from where the universe is going to manifest. This is the intermediary stage. It's God. You should never forget Ishwara, Bhagwan, God. This is the intermediary stage. There is only God and consciousness, and thereafter comes the final explosion, final magnification, wherein the Astada Prakriti multiplies into the manifold universe. Beautiful display, huh? Nice picture. At the beginning, there was only what? There was the Spirit, and there was God, and from God, the universe came. The development of space and the other elements were possible. Once Purusha come, all mischief, all problems will start. The explosion comes, and then we have Purusha. And then we have this plurality of principles that brings about diversity, and many problems comes with diversities. Swami says mischief. That's called samsara. So he did a jump there from this initial stage of unfoldment of the universe, and say, so that was the seed of samsara, the seed of the human jiva problems, okay? Because now we have duality, plurality, diversity, and likes and dislikes, I, aham, and ahamkara, mamakara, and so on. the oldfold apara prakriti becomes the manifold creation. The all eightfold principles in the mind of God, so to speak, explodes to become the manifold creation. Therefore, whatever material aspect you will see in front of you, they are all what? They are just a prakriti aspect of God. So the material world we see is a prakriti. It's God in its material manifestation as the cause and effect of the apara prakriti, which is the gunas of Maya. So I don't know if it's making any sense. This is one aspect of the teachings that I would need to go back to, and I plan to do that, find a way to go back to the teachings of Tattva Bodha to get more deeply into all these aspects of the evolution of the universe through the three energies and the subtle elements and so on. It's not really essential for self-knowledge, and it's not something, but at the same time, it's something that for most people, it's important, because the more intellectual, the more the inquiry goes into depth, more we find doubts and questions that need to be resolved, you know? Even when we go into the level of disappearance, projection, or manifestation, or creation, it's very easy to discard it all. It says, no, you just need to understand that it's a projection, it's not real, you know? But more often than not, that final understanding does not resolve the many doubts in respect to all the teachings that presents the theory of evolution of the cosmos. You know? What happens to Paraprakriti? Nothing happens. And where is that Paraprakriti now? Where is this? And now we are running. And Krishna stops us running and says, this Paraprakriti is here now. You are looking for it. But just know it's you, the observer of a Paraprakriti. So the very nature of the Jiva Tattva, the true nature of Jiva Tattva is Paraprakriti, the very observing consciousness principle. You are conscious, or better said, you are consciousness. You are conscious or unconscious. Any doubt? No, you know that you are conscious because your nature is consciousness. You are the observer. The observer is the Paraprakriti. And whatever is observed is a Paraprakriti. So you are the spirit, you are consciousness, and the universe made of matter and energy is what experienced through the three states. This is going to be the development. Assimilate this much so far for this point. We'll continue in the next class. So thanks God, he's going to help me out here and bring more clarification for all of us. So after introducing the subject matter in the first three verses, Lord Krishna has entered into the serious discussion of the nature of God from the verse number 4, which goes up to the 12th. Krishna defines God as the material cause and intelligent cause. In this passage of the chapter 7, Krishna is stressing the material cause aspect, which means just as the material cause evolves into the facts, which means the material universe, God alone evolves to become this very creation universe. In short, the entire creation is a manifestation of the Lord. Naturally, the question arises, what is the nature of such a God? In the last class, I pointed out that the Lord is a mixture of two principles, consciousness and prakriti, consciousness and the gunas of Maya. Known as the higher principle, the prakriti, and the lower principle. Both of them are beginningless. He's just recapping. It's eternal, beginningless, timeless. There are some common features and different features as well. The higher principle is conscious. The lower principle is unconscious, inert. The higher principle is nirguna, means to say no guna can stick on consciousness. The lower principle is saguna. Saguna is what does stick, like German glue on mithya. When you have mithya, the background for mithya, and then the gunas superimpose, and then you see this mithya universe superimposed on consciousness. But consciousness is free and independent of this superimposition. This is, again, a wonderful inquiry from the Vedantic standpoint. We keep saying that there is a projection, superimposition of the gunas of Maya, which explodes to become the universe upon Paraprakriti, is consciousness. Paraprakriti is there allowing, sustaining, supporting, providing conscious existence to Ishvara and to even to the poor jivas like ourselves. But Paraprakriti consciousness is totally free and independent. So in which way we say that there is a superimposition? Yes, there is a superimposition from the standpoint of the gunas of Maya, mithya, that superimpose itself, but consciousness is not even touched from any of these gunas. That's why we say consciousness is nirguna. The universe is superimposed on consciousness without touching consciousness. Consciousness remains always ever free and independent, which is the other feature presented here. The lower is subject to change. Time is an integral part of matter, whereas consciousness is beyond time. As we know, time destroys matter. Matter appears within linear times, scales, and they are destroyed. A friend of mine sent me a video in which there is a suggestion that scientists now have discovered how to stop aging. They go there and they play with the DNA and this and that, and now you're going to live young forever. It's very appealing, these kind of suggestions, but it goes against the very, very laws of the creation. Everything that is created is subject to change and to destruction in due time. So at the most, they may find a way to slow down the process of aging, I would say, but it's impossible to stop it altogether because it would challenge the laws of creation unless you are talking in terms of entities which are no longer organic human entities, but cyborgs. And then maybe you can come to some something close to living, a long life as a cyborg. Finally, the higher principle is independent principle called Satyan. The lower principle is dependent. Mithya depends on Satya. Satya is free and independent of Mithya. In Mithya, you find Satya. How so? As the support, as the adhistanam, as the substratum. So in Mitya you find Satya, but in Satya you don't find Mitya, you know, because that is just a mirage, an apparent projection. The lower principle depends on the higher principle, therefore it's called Mitya. That's Chetana, Achetana, Nirguna, Saguna, and Nirvikara and Sabikara, Satya, Mitya, Paraprakriti, Paraprakriti, put together is God. Symbolically present in our religion as Ardhanarishvaraha Tattva. I don't know that. The mixture of spirit and matter in our religion is said to be Ardhanarishvarat Tattva. And this is the mixture between consciousness and matter. There are two principles, as we know, play in this apparent reality. One is Satya, the other is Mitya. One is spirit, the other is matter. This mixture exists even before the evolution of the world. Yeah, exists before the evolution of the universe. Also, as consciousness and Mr. Maya is the fundamental mixture, the fundamental beginning of this manifestation, consciousness and the prakrits of Maya. Okay. This is a nice passage. It's very technical, and I'm enjoying to go through this again. It brings more clarity to the teaching in regards to the teachings. So, any contribution from you guys?
I think that Ardhanarishvara is that symbol of Shiva and Parvati together, male and female
Oh,
together
beautiful.
in the religion.
The two principles, yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
So we would have to have a discussion here. So who is the male and who is the female? Yeah. Okay.
Gender politics.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Mark, you please let me know if Wednesday, whenever, there is no rush, okay? When you know, let me know, and then I will confirm what we do next week. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, will do. Yeah.
Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. We meet again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you, Arlindo.
Thank you.
Bye. Good travels.
Thank you.